How important is it to respond to comments in terms of building your website, whether it's just in the thread underneath each article or also via social media?
Yeah, I think about it more from the perspective of community engagement. And right now on NoFilmSchool, it's comments on blog posts. Going forward, it's going to be much more of a community where people can talk to each other and post their own things. And I think for a blog, it's very important because you are not just, it's not, we like to think about it at NoFilmSchool as it's not a lecture. It's not a professor up in front of a blackboard talking to all of his students. It's, a class where there's a circle and we're one of the, maybe we're a moderator or something, but everyone is basically talking to each other. So I think it's very important just how you think about the community, whether that be comments or whether that be social media. And I think, we've done, and we do a good job of responding to comments, I think, but as far as the social media aspects and other things that we could be doing, we just haven't been able to do what I would like to do because it's right now it's essentially just a blog, but that's going to be changing. And I think the most valuable thing you can have as a website is a community that is passionate and comes back regularly and finds value in the site that they're participating in, whether that be in comments or some other sort of interaction.
Do you remember going back to when you got your first comment, your first interaction from someone reading, and how was that, and how diligent were you in responding?
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things about starting a website from scratch is feeling like you're, putting stuff out there and no one's reading it. And of course, I'm sure you guys have seen as well that you could have 1,000 people read an article and not have a single comment, or many more than 1,000. So it's very discouraging at the beginning. And I don't remember what the first comment was, but I do remember years later feeling like, well, no one can really say anything to me now that is going to surprise me. Because by the time I brought on other writers to the site, I had written 1,000 posts and there were 20,000 comments on the site. So I felt like getting comments is a very good skin thickening procedure where you have to believe in yourself and you have to sort of stick to your guns. And at the same time, it's great to listen and you hear a lot of different perspectives on your work and what you're doing. But I actually should go back and look at what the first comment was, because I know for a fact that if you go back to the very first post on my site from 2005 where I say, hey, I'm an unemployed kid in North Carolina, I'm not going to film school, but I don't know where this film career is going, let's find out. To this day, there are still 0 comments on that post. So I'd have to go back and look and see which one actually somebody said something. And I'm sure it's just a friend of mine saying, hey Ryan, you suck, or something. But, I'll go friend that one and put it on the wall.
Do you remember when you finally launched No Film School on Twitter or Facebook? Was that simultaneous with?
Oh,
Twitter wasn't around then.
We were late. Yeah,
Oh.
I was late to Twitter. We haven't been great about our social media presence, and we need to improve at that a lot. But it's just one of those things where there are only so many hours in the day, and we've really focused on creating content, sharing content, and hopefully we'll become more of a social media presence going forward.
Well, obviously 2 million hits a month, you're doing something right. So maybe the thing you're doing right is staying off social. I mean, I see so many people on social media, and I've had to pull back myself, that it's like, is this really, I mean, I hate to say this, but sometimes it's like a giant circle jerk. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to say it. And sorry if I offend anyone, but that's what it is sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I think that maybe you're on the right path if you're focusing more on content and responding to things on the website rather than just like tooting your own horn on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there are a couple of challenges with social media. On the Twitter side, it's very ephemeral. Things drift off people's front pages in a matter of seconds. And on Facebook, I think the challenge is that you don't really own your audience or your data, and progressively more and more, Facebook wants to charge you to be able to reach the audience that has already given you permission to reach them. They like you, and then you're like, well, now that you've liked me, I have to pay money for me to say, hey, here's this thing. So, for me, the thing that I really focused on instead of social media was email, because I knew that I would own that, and that email is stickier than a Twitter post. You send somebody an email, it stays in their inbox. They have to delete it or unsubscribe or read it. And so that was really my focus, because I felt like it wasn't trendy. It wasn't something that was going to come and go. And I'm sure someday there will be something better than email. I don't know if it's the new Google Hangouts or, Google tried Wave and all these different things, but that's been the thing that I focused on, because I felt like it was more evergreen. It wasn't something that was going to come and go and die off. And but I do think that there's a lot to be said for social media, and we don't have a social media person, and we don't have enough time to make it more interactive for now.